Hey everybody, it's Dina Rico with the Creativity Cave. I'm so excited to stamp with you today. I have an amazing Simple to Stunning Sundays to share with you. I love these projects. And I'm featuring the Sweetly Swirled stamp set, which is one of the sets that I'm going to be using at my Stamp and Game Night workshop that's coming up on Tuesday evening. And if you haven't registered for it, I will put a link to the Facebook group right here in the video description. If you would like to get yourself a make and take packet, I will email you the registration link. All you need to do is message me that you would like it. I'll put my email in the description here for you as well, but it's going to be so much fun. So the Sweetly Swirled stamp set is one that I've really liked all year, but I kind of keep putting it aside in favor for other things. Well, I got it out, and let me tell you, I had so much fun playing with this set. So let me show you what I came up with. There's so much that you can do. So we're going to start out with our simple card, and I really actually think this, usually I always like the stunning card, right? I mean, that's always like the most impressive. I can't decide this week which one of these I like the best because I really like each of them kind of all on their own. So I'm going to start with a half a sheet of thick white cardstock. Give that a good crease. I've got a layer of each of these cards is going to have a layer of 3 3/4 by 5 Whisper White. That's where we're going to start. So for this one, I love all the little pieces that come in this stamp set. So I'm going to use a really nice color palette. I've got a Seaside Spray. Where did my ink pad? Here it goes. Gray Granite, Night of Navy, and I'm throwing in a little bit of So Saffron. So I really like the color combination that I'm using, and we're going to use a little bit of everything on here. So I'm going to start with Seaside Spray and stamp my little rosebud on here. And I'm just going to kind of stamp that right about here. And then I'll add my little So Saffron circle thing. And yes, official terminology for sure. Okay, so there we go. Next, I'm going to take and stamp my little branches. Now, the stamp set has a solid leaf, and then it's got kind of two branchy things, a leafy branch and a branchy branch. I don't know. You know how I like to make up terms for my images in stamping, or my terminology. So when I ink these up, what I'm going to do is not ink up the whole thing. I guess on this one, it doesn't quite matter. On the other cards, it will matter a little more to not have that whole stem inked up. You'll see when we get to it. So I'm just going to stamp that down like so in my gray granite. Then I'll add the leafy branch also in gray granite, like so. And then I want to pull in a couple leaves, but I want to stamp them off first. So I'm going to protect my work surface here so I can stamp off. Okay, so I'll stamp off one and put it right there, and I'll stamp off a second and put it right there. And then, of course, I need something to cover up this kind of mess. So I will stamp one of the large flowers, or the largest flower, in some Night of Navy on my little scrap here. Okay, now I have gone ahead and cut out one ahead of time, so you didn't have to watch me cut it out. I just left a little bit of a border around the whole thing, and I'm going to attach this to my card with a glue dot. That will pop it up ever so slightly, but it'll also keep my card nice and not too bumpy, you know, for mailing purposes. Now, I also want to add my sentiment, and there's several to choose from in this stamp set. I'm going to use Love You, which I think is a really nice sentiment to send to somebody who you love right now, who maybe you haven't been able to see. Okay, so there's Love You. And then I'm going to take and embellish this with one of my little, these are the Happiness Blooms enamel dots. Oh, and you know what? I'm about out of the, hold on, I've got some more blue ones. I've been using a bunch of these. I've got some more though. So the funny thing is I used the lipstick colored or Melon Mambo colored ones for a project a while back, and I have a whole bunch of Night of Navy ones, and I'm so happy because I love this card. I want to make a bunch of these cards up because it's so simple. All right, I'm going to flip that over and then just pop the whole layer up onto my card base. And this will be our simple card. Really easy to make, and I think really pretty. I love that it's so simple. And I mean, this is stunning in its own right, if you ask me. But of course, I got to take it a step or two further, as I always do on my Simple to Stunning Sundays. So there we go. It's a really super cute card. Okay, let's kick it up a notch. For this next one, I'm going to start with the same card, white base, and then I'm going to switch to a Seaside spray card base. So this is actually my card base. So I just do a half a sheet, which is 8.5 by 5.5, folded in half. All right, now with this, I wanted to decorate it a little bit. So I'm going to take that So Saffron flower. Let me clean it quick with my chamois. And then I'm going to stamp just a few of these in Seaside spray up here in the corner, just to kind of add a little something. So it's got a little decoration, and then I'll repeat that down here in this corner. I love this image a lot. I really love it. Actually, it's my favorite in the set, this little center here. And so I think there's a lot of fun things you can definitely do with that. Okay, so I'll set that aside and then we'll do our stamping. This time I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to bring in one of the swirls from this set. I love the swirls. Just making sure that's clean before I ink it up. And I'm going to take and ink this up in some gray granite ink. I didn't want it to be too bold, so I'm going to stamp off a layer of the ink. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp it on my card. I just flipped it around here. All right, so there we go on my card, looking good. Next, I'm going to do kind of the same thing I did on the last card. I'm going to do building up my little floral images. So I'll start with the rosebud, just like I did before. I'm going to stamp a couple of them on here like so. We'll clean this because I did make it soft Seaside spray. I got to get it back to the right color. So for this, I'll use a So Saffron again. And I'll just add a couple of these. And when you stamp off those swirls, I think it looks a little better when you stamp over them. You know what I mean? It's not quite so whatever. I don't know what the word is. All right, and then I've got to fill all this in. We're going to put our flower, in the center, covering it up. And I do have one. I hope I cut enough. I'm pretty sure I did. I've got one cut out here. Yeah, that'll go right in the center. So we got to fill it in with our leaves and branches. So we'll do the same thing we did on the last card. Again, I only want to ink up the leafy part, not that stem so much. Okay, so I'm going to stamp one of those full strength right there and another one full strength right there, and I think I'm pretty good. Then I'm going to take my leaf and add this. Once again, I'll stamp it off like I did on the last card. I'll put one right there, put one right there, and I think I'll even put one right over here. And then finally, I'll do my branchy one. Once again, just inking up the branch part, not the whole stem. And I'll stick that right there. Okay, I gotta make sure I can cover all this up. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so there we go. We've got our flower on here. So once again, I'll take and stick this down. Now I feel a little bit like I need 2 flowers on this because I spread them out a little bit more. So I will take, now I probably will need to cut out one of these, but that's okay. I'll take one more and just kind of place it right here. I just needed to fill that out. I'll show you my original and then you can kind of see. I just want to make sure it all looks good. All right, so I've got the 2 on there. I still need my sentiment on the inside, and I've got this sentiment. It says, "Oh, hey," and I kind of like that. Like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" So we'll stamp that down right here. I just don't want to stamp on top of my flower, that's all, like this flower. So that looks great. Okay, but if you know me at all, you know that one of my favorite things to do is spritz. So we're going to spritz a little bit with some gray granite. I like spritzing with a neutral color or a really bold color. I think the neutral is going to look good here. And I'm just going to get things out of the way. So I'll spritz. And there we go. That looks pretty good. I don't want to do too much. So there's my spritzing. Pretty awesome. And then once again, I'll put my little centers on here. These enamel dots are perfect. And one of the things I really like about them is they don't create too much thickness. They're nice and flat. So you can mail things and you won't have trouble with your card being too thick, which is certainly an issue. And I always like not having to pay that a little extra postage because I mail quite a few cards every month. I probably mail, I bet, a couple hundred more often than not. So it's a lot of cards to send out. All right, so there's our second one. I love it. And I'll show you my first one. You can see I just had everything a little bit more compact so that one flower covered everything up just fine. Here the two flowers were probably necessary, but ooh, I like it. All right, now I kind of went for broke for this last one. So what I want to do is I want to create a wreath that's a little bit more in depth than the one I did on my last card. So I'm going to take my 2 1/4 inch circle punch and I've got a scrap here. I'm going to punch one out and I want to use this as a guide. So I'm going to take a pencil and just set this on here, kind of where the last wreath went, and then just draw a little circle. Feeling like my mechanical pencil's out of lead though. Here we go. So I'm doing it pretty lightly. You will be able to erase this at the end if you need to. All right, now to do this, I'm going to base the whole thing off of this branch. It's got a nice curve to it. So when we stamp this, we're going to follow that curve and we're going to line them right up against one another. So I'm not leaving really any gap between. And then I should be able to get 6 of them on here, I think. Okay, and it's pretty easy to just line up the end and the point on your circle, and then they will fit just fine. Look at that. Isn't that cute? I love the look. All right, next I'm going to start filling that in. So I'll start, as I have with all the cards, with my little rosebud in my soft seafoam. And I'm pretty much just going to kind of put these around, basically in the gap between that branchy thing. All right. And there we go. And I guess I need one right here. I skipped over that one. Okay. Next, I'll do my So Saffron. And I keep closing my So Saffron pad. I'm not sure why. But actually, I'm done with this one right for now. So we're good. Okay. So for So Saffron, we're not going to do quite as many. We're going to kind of go every other on the inside. So we'll get 3 in there, and that looks pretty good to me. Next up, I want to fill in with my little branchy image. Now in this case, we'll once again use the gray granite, but we're going to stamp off a layer and then just kind of add that in like so. Okay. And I really can't tell you how much I have enjoyed playing with this set. I can't wait for you guys to see the projects we're going to make at my, I stamped that one full strength. I didn't mean to. I can't wait for you guys to see the projects I'm going to make at my Stampin' Workshop. Anybody is welcome to attend. So you can just join the group and check it all out. It's going to be Tuesday night. You can watch the replay if you can't make it live. If you'd like a make and take packet, you can order one. And like I said, this is one of the sets that I'll be featuring. Now on my leaf, I'm going to do the inside as well as the outside. And again, I'm stamping off that layer in between. And oh, I just love the look of this. So pretty. And this really fills out that wreath, so it looks really nice. And we'll put one more right there. Okay, that looks awesome. Now to finish this up, of course, I need my stamped flowers that I did in navy. So we're gonna have to cut one of these out. Luckily, I cut most of this out ahead of time, so you didn't have to watch me cut. But I do have some good tips for cutting out an image. First of all, I'm going to hold my scissors pretty steady, and then I'll just go around by moving my paper, not my scissors. And that actually gives me, it's a little bit easier to be uniform with the cutting. This is also really easy cutting, like when you're watching the Tiger King show on Netflix, which I will tell you, we watched the whole thing today. Oh my gosh, it is complete madness. We will talk about it during my Facebook Live or my YouTube Live on Monday, let me tell you. Also, I apologize for my thumbnail. This is my Corona thumb. So it is what it is. I cannot wait to get my nails done again. Actually, the rest of them look pretty good, but my thumb has had a bit of a rough go of things. All right, so we'll stick these on with our glue dots. They're so handy. Now, if you want any of the supplies that I've used, I will list all of them with links in the description of this video, as well as a link to my blog so that you can check out my project photos and see all of those details. And of course, as mentioned, I'll have my my Stampin' Night group, so you can join that if you would like. It'll be fun. You know, I always have fun. All right, so I'm just going to kind of spread these around my card like so. And I want to leave a little room. I'm actually going to move this one up so I can tie a bow right here. And then for that, I will use got this really pretty. This was in our holiday catalog, but it's still available. It is the metallic Seaside spray ribbon. And I'm actually going to do a double bow. So I'm just going to cut two lengths, and tie my knot like this. This is just, I find this to be pretty easy. So I'll start, create that little loop, go around, and then feed this through, and then we'll adjust till we have a nice looking bow. And I like that the tails are a little bit different lengths. That's just fine. No worries there. Okay. So that looks good. And then we're going to tack this down onto our card. Now this does create thickness. I will tell you that right now, but it's so pretty. You don't have to do the double layer. That will definitely cause more thickness. So if this is a card you want to mail, you can certainly do that single layer and it'll be just fine. Okay, so there we are. Now I gotta move this one a little bit too, because I gotta stick my sentiment on here. There we go. Luckily these are somewhat removable. In fact, I might wait till I stamp my sentiment. Okay, so for my sentiment, I'm going to use the thank you that's in this stamp set, because I think this will make a really pretty thank you card. And I'll just stamp it right there. I'm giving it a good press because it's going over this bow. Oh, perfect. Then we'll kind of stick that back in its spot, and then we'll get our little flower right back to where it needs to be. Perfect. Okay, and the final thing I'm going to do is just add some more of those enamel dots because they're so pretty. Your Take Your Pick tool is such a helpful tool for this. So we'll use those medium-sized ones, and then I'm also going to use some of the small ones. And I think that I'm gonna look into some of the other colors of these enamel dots to kind of guide me with some different color combinations for more of these wreaths. So I think that fills out my wreath pretty nicely. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to a layer of Night of Navy cardstock. And then that is going to get popped up onto our Seaside spray card base. Oh, this is just so pretty. And I really like the color combination. I think it's very nice. All right, and we'll pop that up onto our card like we've been doing the others. Now, the last thing we got to do is a little spritzing. Because you know, no card is completely complete without a little spritzing. I mean, that is at least my philosophy. Or not very many cards. There's some cards don't have spritz, but a lot of them do. Okay, so for this, I'm going to do 2 types of spritzing, my marker as well as my, there we go. Oops, got to put it on upside right. My marker as well as my clear wink Estella. Okay, so I'll do my marker first. We're just gonna, there we go, get that spritz on there. Give it a good flick. You want to hear that snap. And then I'm going to use my clear wink Estella. I just need to hit it against something, so I'll use my bone folder here. And when I smack it against this, little bits of spritz come out, which is awesome. And then you can really see that shimmer on there, which is so pretty. Isn't that great? Now, don't forget to join me on my Facebook party for my Stampin' Night. You can also, my Stampin' Workshop, you can also register for a make and take packet if you email me. All the make and take packets will go out Wednesday, so you won't have them before the event, but that was kind of by design. And I've got lots of prizes to give away, so it's always a good thing. And then, of course, if you'd like any of the stuff I used to create these gorgeous cards, please shop my online store. And I'll put the links to everything in the description of this video. And don't forget to subscribe right here to my channel. You won't miss any of my awesome videos. I hope you guys had a lovely day today. Thank you so much for stamping with me. I will see you again tomorrow for my usual YouTube live. We'll see you then, guys. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.